Director of Life Choice Wellness Center, and this is day 3 of 21 on our going live series of Let's Talk Health. All right, and I want you to put a thumbs up in the chat box if you've been with us for the past couple of days. If not, I want you to go back, check out a couple other topics we've been talking about so far, and that way you can be up to speed of what we've been going through since day 3 is today. All right, so today's topic is going to be, why do I still feel like crap if my thyroid is being managed by medication? Okay, so there is a great book by Dr. Karazian on this topic, and it is very, very detailed in explaining why the thyroid is so misdiagnosed and what intricate processes things go through. All right, so I'm going to run through that really quickly and give you a short bit of an answer of why essentially you have to dig and find the cause, because oftentimes it's just one blip of the picture and you need a full picture. All right, so usually when people get diagnosed with low thyroid, the most common blood markers that are taken is the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. All right, and that hormone dictates how much of the precursor of the active thyroid hormone is produced in the body, all right, which regulates metabolism and temperature of the body and all those different things. And so we want to make sure that we have enough of that, obviously, to regulate circadian rhythm and all those other good things that are going to go on, which also are affected by other hormones. So that thyroid stimulating hormone, though, is not the only factor in your thyroid, okay, functioning properly. So to start from the top, it's the hypothalamus. It's kind of the regulator. It's the one that's directing traffic, per se, of releasing hormones in the body to promote proper function in the body, okay, especially with hormone regulation. Then you have your hormone producing organ for the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is the pituitary. So the hypothalamus signals to the pituitary to release thyroid stimulating hormone, okay? Now this thyroid stimulating hormone then goes to the thyroid in order to produce T4, all right, which is a molecule that has 4 iodines connected to it. That's why it's T4. And then from there, all right, the T4 hormone is then converted into the active thyroid hormone, which is T3 in the liver, okay? So then the thyroid hormone T3, the active thyroid hormone, has to be transported from there to the cells, okay, that they go to in order to then produce certain functions, all right? So you can see we've gone through 3 or 4 different hands before we get to the active thyroid hormone and the proper function that should be happening as that thyroid hormone gets to the different cells. All right, so there are different blood markers that can show us where in that process you're having the dysfunction. Okay, so let's say that, you know, your hypothalamus isn't functioning properly, then the pituitary may not be sending out enough, or it's sending out too much of the stimulating hormone, then the thyroid is being overstimulated or understimulated, or you don't have proper conversion of T4 into T3 in the liver. Let's say you have a congested or fatty liver that isn't functioning well, right? So then that begins to create an issue with the T4 being converted into the active thyroid hormone T3, okay? So obviously we see this in middle-aged women a lot, and therefore even around that time you may see a lot of them also getting their gallbladders taken out, you know. So female 40 is kind of like the quick answer to many anatomy and physiology questions when it comes to gallbladders being congested and then having stones and usually having them removed, right? Female 40. So around that time, the the gallbladder isn't functioning well, therefore the liver is also not functioning well. It's congested, and the thyroid hormone may not be converting well due to that, and therefore you have this dysfunction going on. Okay, so the short to long answer of all of this is it may not primarily be your thyroid, although your thyroid stimulating hormone is dysregulated due to the dysfunction in whichever pathway it is. Okay, so you have to dig deeper. You can't just look at the thyroid stimulating hormone TSH. You have to look at T4, T3, and there's other markers that are also associated with the thyroid, such as reverse T3, along with your antibodies toward the thyroid, which is a whole other topic, which we'll talk about in another video when we're talking about autoimmune on the thyroid as well. And then we also have other markers that we can assess to see how this thyroid is really functioning, like the free T3 and free T4, which is showing your active hormone and how much is in the blood, and then the binding capacity of these different hormones to the cells as well. Okay, so this is such a bigger picture than just your TSH. So if you're having thyroid issues and you've only had your TSH checked, I encourage you to go back to your doctor or go to a functional medicine doctor who will check the big picture and see all of these markers and find out where you have the dysfunction so that it can be properly corrected. All right, so I was a little long-winded there, but hopefully that was helpful. If that was, I want you to like and share this video. And if you know anyone who may have thyroid challenges or have been on thyroid medication, or yourself, I want you to put their name in the chat box so that they can also be, or share this with them so they can be connected to this information. All right. But lastly, when looking at all of these different things, obviously the foods we eat, our environment, different toxins are going to be associated, right? So that's why I encourage people to get food tested, get the proper blood work and other associated tests to make sure you find the cause, correct the cause, and the body will heal. Okay, so we don't guess, we test. All right, so with all of that being said, this is the end of day 3. Dr. Dawson is out. All right, remember to choose well, live well.